Most traders don't lose money because they are bad entries. They lose because they are catastrophic losers. They re-enter, they double down, they chase, they revenge trade, they're impulsive trading, and all their emotions are absolutely all over the place. So in today's video, I'm going to break down of how you can operate like a professional loser, because to be a professional trader on full time, you're going to have to become a professional loser. Now, let's think about this. When price is moving against you, that is reading the market. That is reading the market strength. But why do you consistently try and re-enter another position or add into a loser? You're not looking at the data. So let's simplify this. If you get to your key level and price is grinding and grinding and it gets through that level with showing any weakness, that's giving you information. It's not a failure of the trade. It's the fact that the information is there, but you tend to hold on to that trade, thinking that it's going to reverse and you're ignoring the information. The market is delivering a verdict straight away right in front of your eyes, and you're choosing to ignore that because you don't have any emotional control. If you don't accept that quickly, it will be damaging and catastrophic. But if you accept that quickly, that's where the power starts to turn into your favor, because then you can move on with a clear thought process. So what's going to help you straight away in this video is, before that you enter any trade, the question should be, what behavior will invalidate this thesis? What is going to stop me from thinking that I can just stay in this trade? What will invalidate that? Now, if you have a trade plan and a trade idea, which is your thesis, you need something to invalidate that. You need something to give you the information. The same way that you've got something to get into the trade, you need something to get you out of the trade. And a lot of people miss that and don't speak about that because it's not glamorous, it's a little bit boring, and people may not click that video. I'm not here for you to click this video or get loads of clicks. I'm here for those who get valuable information to take that into their trading. So once that's the case, and we have this kind of mindset and we have an invalidation, what happens then? Well, it's very, very simple. You can't have a number price. It's a behavior. You can't have, if this happens at this price, I'm going to get out of the market, right? Because the behavior of the market is giving you data. That signal, that moment may be too late. It may be too late. So let's not think about a price number. Let's think about of what happens at this key level for me to invalidate that. And if that signal appears, you're out of the trade. Simple as that. That story, that trade, that event is no longer. That's how you need to be very, very cut and cut those losses, because that's how you're going to become a very, very, very good loser. Now, to create that, you're going to have to develop a loser identity. Now, this is really hard because even me saying loser and loser identity, it feels like it's a failure when we say that, because we're brought up, if you're going to be successful, that winners never quit and you must win at all costs. That's how we've trained our brain to relate to success. But in trading, it can't be like that. Those days where we can't define a loss, and we can't, not to say define, we can't accept a loss, and we have this winning mentality that, oh, well, if I lose today, it's a failure. That's where we go into then revenge trading. So we need to create a identity, a loser identity, because we link losses to a incompetence. We think it's average. We think we're failing, and then we want to revenge trade. So we can't link that. That's just the way that our mind works. So you see the power of trying to rewire your brain. You see, professional traders and full-time traders, what I've done is it allowed me, and it's not all the time, because if anybody comes out here and says they've got it mastered and all this, that's false. I still have faults. I still go on tilt. I still do these things, but it's a lot less. But you can invert this way of thinking, okay, that a clean loss is proof of competence, not incompetence. If you've got a clean loss and you go by your rules and it does not work out and you get out of the trade, that is competence. That is emotional control. So you're on the right path if you're already thinking that. You can't connect that to failure. Now, a loss followed by your rules, that's a good trade. I always say this, a loss followed by your rules is a good trade. A win which is not followed by your rules is a bad trade. And this is where you then start going from this beginner kind of mindset of trading of, well, if I'm green on the day, I must be a good trader, to actually, did I follow my process? So just remember that a loss with a good setup and a loss by going by your parameters is a very, very good trade. Always remember that. And again, like I said, a winner when you broke rules, it's not going to happen. They are the worst habits that you could possibly happen in trading. So every clean loss is a deposit into the identity that you're becoming a very, very good loser. And you must become a good loser. Every deviation from that is withdrawing that positive box into your deposit. We have we call it in trading, like you have, if you keep doing negative things, you're building a mountain of negative rocks. If you keep doing positive things, you're building a mountain of positive rocks. And eventually, which one is going to win on the balance that you live your trading and your life? So think of this as a daily basis. If I follow my rules and still lose, that is a positive thing. If I go back to sports, for years and years and years, I didn't get rewarded, but I kept doing the same thing and doing the same thing and doing the same thing. Even if it didn't work, I kept trying to do the same thing. And eventually it then obviously worked. So this leads me then into no chasing. If you're going to get very, very good at losing, you need to understand that you need to stop chasing. So if you're thinking about a trade that you're already out of, so say you're still thinking about a trade that you're already out of, right? And you're not in the right state of mind to take a new one, and you take that trade, that's chasing. That is the start of revenge trading. That is the start of your tilt day. That is the start of maybe 3 or 4 weeks of green getting blown in one red day. And you must understand that there needs to be some sort of filter that allows you to take the loss and have the confidence to take the loss. You see, you must close that trade mentally. At the moment that it doesn't work and the moment that it is invalidated, you must close that trade mentally alongside when it closes on the platform. Because if you don't, you're not going to have the thought capacity or the thought process to then come back down, be aligned, to get calm, to look for the new entry. You must close that trade on a mental level when it closes on the platform, because chasing will always create an emotional response, and it will always, 9 times out of 10 on the long run, absolutely ruin you. And that, my friend, is just dressed up as a lack of conviction. That's what it is. All right. So very, very important that you do that. Now, the final part of this video, and this is a little bit deeper, I like to go into deep videos. These are not for beginner friendly videos. They're not for everybody. They're not for thousands of views. They're for value, high value. And I want to speak about something called implementation intentions. All right. And I will be doing this module in the program, but implementation intentions is built around something called a negative urgency. And this is the tendency to act impulsively under intense negative emotion. So think about that, what I've just said. The tendency to act impulsively under intense negative emotion. So you imagine you've just lost a trade, and that trade has lost you your daily drawdown limit, or 50% of your daily drawdown limit. Do you think for 1 minute, if you're not thinking straight, that that's not going to creep in? Because that is a negative emotion, and that's going to cause serious problems. So the moment that that stop loss gets hit, the analytical part of your brain goes completely offline. It's not centered. It's not aligned. It just goes completely offline. And then the rules don't work. So knowing that you shouldn't chase isn't enough at that moment in time. How many times and how many people watching this video know that you shouldn't be doing something, yet you still do it in trading? How many people or mentees that say, they'll send me a message, Fran, I knew I should not have done this, but I did it. I say it to the same in my community. I knew I shouldn't have done this, but I did it. I knew I shouldn't have sized up today, but I did it. All right. That is negative emotions playing part in my trading. And that's probably what's happened to you right now, because even though we have the rules are not existing because we're not allowing them to get in, because we're going off this implementation intention, which is negative urgency. So you need decisions that were already made before the emotion arrived. So that's why it's very important to make sure everything is planned and clear so that when these negative emotions come into play, you're already prepared for them. Now, what you can do with that is you can write simple things down. And I know journaling's boring, and I know writing these maybe post-it notes on your laptop or your screens is boring, but these are really, really going to help you in the early stages of your journey. And if you need any help with that, there is a link below, work with me. We will be closing for a couple of months from May. So make sure that you get that one-to-one spot locked. If not, there's also a free journal in the description as well that you can go, get back straight, get where you need to get to. Use the free journal if you're not ready to take your trading yet to the next level and work with me on a one-to-one basis where I transform your trading. It's as simple as that. But this is what you can do right now before your trades, before the week starts on Monday. If I get stopped out, close the charts, stand up, 15 minutes, walk away from the screen. If I get closed out, walk away from the screen for 15 minutes. Number one, that's really, really going to help you, because unless you're scalping on the 15 seconds or the 1 minute term time frame, you're going to have enough time to wait for the next setup. Okay. Now, this is going to help you stop the urge from re-entering. But if you do have the urge to re-enter, it must only be on a new setup. It cannot be on recovering the money, because that's revenge trading. If you do that, that's very, very unclear, and you should not trade. So it has to be on a new setup and not the recovery of the money. If the recovery of the money is there, basically if the setup's not there, you're looking to recover the money, you can't take a trade. So that's one thing you're going to do. And another point is, if you're still watching the trade and you're out of the trade, you got to close the chart immediately. If you get stopped out of a trade and you're still watching the trade, it's just so hard to not try and take that trade again. Believe me, it's very, very hard. So we need to put boundaries in the way that's really, really going to help you do that. And that's a very, very good way to obviously doing that. So vague rules require thoughts. Plans are automatic. So when I speak to people and say, what's your rules? Oh, well, if this happens, maybe I do that. Maybe not too sure. It depends on the day. That's vague. But if you make them the same, they're automatic. Like my entry model is automatic, my precision system. It's automatic to me because I've done it for so long now. Is there set rules? Do I still go against those rules at times? Yes, but only slightly, and it tends to be oversizing at times if I'm on to try and get a huge payout. All right. So think about that when you're going through this. This is really, really going to help you become a better loser. It's going to help you start creating an identity of losing, because if you do not understand how to lose, you're never going to make it in this game. So drop a comment below whether you've been struggling with losing. I want to know what you've been doing to try and overcome that. And if you find value in this video, then you know what to do. Share this video, because the algorithm has changed on YouTube. So just share this video as much as you can to really help as many people outside there as possible. And we've not said this for a very long time. If you have not subscribed or liked this video, it looks like the YouTube algorithm is back and you're going to need to do that. I'll see you on the next one.